Hello everyone and welcome to the final demonstration of the software development project Spring 2023 regarding Revita. Let's get started. Our customer is the University of Helsinki and their Revita project team. Revita is a digital humanities project which combines AI, linguistics, and pedagogical knowledge. So, what is Revita? Revita is meant for learning languages. In the application, the user can practice the selected language with predetermined stories and exercises, or they can upload any story in a digital form that they're interested in to practice with. The app uses AI to track the user's skill level and provides suitable exercises to the user. It also provides a lot of statistical data to the user and to their teacher about the user's progress. The technologies used in the application are as follows. The back end is made with Python, uses Mongo database. The front end uses React. Testing is made with Cypress and Sentry. Production has Docker, GitHub, and GitHub Actions. What we have done is we are focusing on the front end. We're refactoring old stuff and creating new stuff as well. Here is a timeline of our project. In the first sprint, we got to know the code base because it was an existing project. We made small changes to the recommendation system and we learned the localization. Sprint 2, we started making tours. We made a library tour and a progress tour and a wee bit of changes to the homepage tour. Sprint 3, a practice tour and polished the old ones and made a demo. In the Sprint 4, we started refactoring the whole recommendation system. We made even more tours and polished the old ones. Sprint 5, we introduced a streaking system and a profile page, continued with the refactoring of the recommendation system, and made some fixes to the tours we made earlier. Sprint 6 introduced XP and levels. We polished the profile page and still continued refactoring the recommendation system. In the Sprint 7, we made an XP timeline chart, we polished XP and levels, and finally finished refactoring the recommendation system. Here we can find ourselves in the application. Let's do a quick rundown of what we have done. So the goal of the project was to increase the communication with the user and to improve the game-like elements in the application. For communication with the user, we have introduced tours, as some of you may remember. When the user goes to a page, they can click the tour button on the top right corner and they will be introduced into a tour. The tour will take the user through the different functions of that current page and introduce the user to them, so the user would not feel lost. This is only one example of the several tours we have created. So to further improve the communication with the user, we have made a profile page. We can get to the profile page by clicking the profile icon and then clicking the profile. Here we can find ourselves in the profile page. The user can see their basic information such as their username, their level, their experience, their streak, completed exercises, a hour chart, medals, and more. If I had any followed users or blocked users, they would be displayed over here. To improve the gamification effects, we have created a streak system to encourage the user to practice on multiple days in a row. We've also created a leveling system and an XP system. The user can gain experience for completing exercises such as flashcards or snippets. We've also made some charts to communicate the user's progress to the user better. If we go to the progress page here, we can see a few of these charts. Here's a language level timeline, which gives the user the information about the language that they're learning and the progress that they have made. Here's an XP timeline on the bottom here, which tells the user how much experience they have gained in the selected time period. And last but not least, one of the big things that we have done is not that visible to the user, but we have refactored the entire recommendation system. When you click on the recommendations, you can see that there's a lot of stuff going on here, and the code structure of the recommendations used to be a lot different. This is kind of hard to demonstrate in the application itself, so I am going to provide you a few code examples. The recommendation system used to consist of 6 different components, one of them being the default activity model that we can see over here. The components used to define all of the recommendations inside themselves, making calling it a bit tricky and to modifying it even more trickier. So here we can see, for example, calling has gone from this to this, and a different model from this to once again this.
Nice.
So, what have we learned? About the communication, we did not see the back end, so it was extremely important to communicate with the client team with our needs regarding to the back end. Not seeing the structure of the back end objects sometimes made the development a bit tricky. Also, since we did not control the deployment, it was very important that we were on the same page with the client about the things that were ready for deployment and what were not. We had increased issues towards the end of the project with the production pipeline. We did not create the action pipeline or the Cypress tests ourselves. If we had, it probably would have not been any better, probably even worse. But we might have had a better understanding as why it was failing when it was failing. We also learned that the small things create the bigger picture when it comes to usability, and sometimes that said smallest things can cause more trouble than expected, as suggested by the meme on the right. Closing drop-downs is not as easy as it sounds. We also developed our coding skills. We became much more refined with React and JavaScript. We also had increased confidence in editing already existing code, or should I say we had more confidence in version control, since if we actually broke something, we could always get it back. Then about teamwork inside our own team. Our team had some live meetings, but most of the work was done remotely. We learned to utilize remote tools. Most commonly, we would either demonstrate something via a live stream or edit the code together at the same time using LiveShare. We had very active Discord communication to keep everyone on track with what was happening. We found that not all problems are always solvable alone. Describing your problem with words and telling about it to a member of your team alone increases the probability of success substantially. But that is about all, and now it is time for some questions.